Don't call me sir. You ready, Steve? Here we are. Another episode of Talking Sports with the Legend. Tonight's guest is Anthony Giordano. Take it away, Steve.
Where are you from?
I am from South Philadelphia, Steve.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to St. Joseph's Prep and graduated class of 1988.
Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Temple University.
How did you get into reffing and umping?
As you are probably a bigger sports fan than I am. You're one of the biggest fans that I know. I was a big sports fan growing up. And my oldest son, who's 29 years old, played sports all the way up through high school. And I was able to have the luxury of coaching him in some of those sports through the years and also just being a dad in the stands through the years. And once all that went away and there wasn't much sports for me to really enjoy anymore, I decided to get into refereeing and umpiring and really enjoy working with the kids and watching them grow. I've umpired kids all the way from T-ball to high school and also from Little League football all the way up to high school. And it's nice to see those kids grow along the way.
How long have you been reffing and umping?
It's been about almost 10 years now. It's about 10 years I got started with the Northeast Peanut League. Basketball wise, I do some TSC baseball games for all the way from 8U up until 17U. I've had the pleasure of umpiring the Anderson Monarchs Little League team that played in the Little League World Series. And I also belong to an organization called ARCO. It's another organization up in the Northeast that gives me my football games.
How far have you traveled for a game or tournament?
The farthest I've been, I've been as far out in New Jersey as Chemung, Tabernacle, areas like that. And in Pennsylvania, I've been out in the Harleysville area, Upper Dublin, Warrington, Warminster, places like that.
How old do you have to get to a game?
How long does it take to get to a game?
Now, how early do you arrive before a game starts?
Thank you. We got to be there. If it's a regular season game, we try to get there a half hour ahead of time. We meet in the parking lot and discuss our game plan, just like a regular team would do. And for the playoffs, we show up an hour earlier. I've done limited high school work in the past, and I had the pleasure of actually doing St. Joe's Prep versus North Penn semifinal game to go to the state championship. I was not on the field. I wasn't a field crew. I was on the chain gang in that game. I don't think I could have been very fair if I was on the field being an alumni. So I made sure I stayed on the sidelines.
Did you tell him we went to the St. Joe's Prep game?
Me and my dad went Saturday. They played Roman.
Oh yeah, that's another. And now we got the bye this week. And we have the winner of Penn Ridge and Souderton in the semifinals. It's a condensed season, as everybody knows. I hope that St. Joe's goes on and wins like they've done in the past. But anything can happen, as you know, in sports.
He's good friends with Danny, the athletic director. Excuse me, okay. and he invited us to go to that game too. So
he said it could be at O'Hara.
No, he said he's pretty sure it's going to be at O'Hara at 1:00.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you guys, your alumni want to show up, they had a lot of people show up for that game.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I'm always I've traveled. Well, to travel, I've gone all the way to Hershey for the state championship games. Never reffed them, of course, but I go out there. Me and my wife, we do a little 3-day weekend. We've made friends out in the Hershey area, and it's nice to hook up with those guys. Don't know how it's going to go this year because of the COVID and stuff like that. But, it would be nice to be able at least to get up there and see everybody just to say hello. But first, we got to win first, obviously.
Before you go any further, a lot of times Stephen forgets that referees and umpires have other jobs. What was your major at Temple?
Political science major at Temple.
And what are you doing for yourself nowadays?
I work for the city of Philadelphia in the courthouse.
Ah, see that?
Mm-hmm.
And that allows him to be home by the time for games at night and then be off on the weekends.
Yeah.
Steven always
Yes.
wants me to. I
Mhm.
refereed 1 year in 1993 for soccer, and he wanted me to get back into it. And I told him if I get to the point where I'm retired, probably. But I said otherwise. Right now, I'm off on the weekends. But I don't know if my boss is ever going to go back to opening on Saturdays. But we've been closed on Saturdays.
Yeah, and the tough thing about doing high school games when you first start out, you would get a lot of freshmen and JV games, and they play those games during the week sometimes right after school. So I'm not done work yet to be able to participate in that. I became real close friends with Coach Gabe Infante, who built this very successful program at St. Joseph's Prep back starting with our first championship run in 2013. And he actually saw me doing a game and that he was scouting at Fifth and Alamy. And I went in to go see him just to talk about the upcoming playoffs. I used to go visit him once, like weekly. It was like a little soap opera we had together. And he had talked about that game. I said, you were at that game? I said, I was reffing that game. He said, you were? I said, I was the white hat in the game. He goes, let me tell you something, Anthony. We can actually use guys like you. You're very knowledgeable. Your crew was pretty solid. And I thought that was a pretty big compliment coming from a big-time coach like Gabe. And he said would help me get involved in the PIAA at the higher level, but I wouldn't want to just get involved and then just jump to the front of the line. It's just like anything. You want to work your way to the top.
Yeah, well, I've been to some of those games for soccer, and you could probably learn to referee soccer and do a better job than some of those guys did. I tell you, it's hard to have patience when you know what you're doing. I played soccer, and watching guys that are refereeing, and you can tell some of these guys didn't play the game because, when you watch an NFL game from all the experience you've had now at, a lot lower level, you can see things going on that, it's like, that's a foul or that's a penalty,
yes.
Whereas the average person doesn't understand it.
Yep, you're right. I mean, some guys get into it. I mean, there's extra money to be out there, and some guys, unfortunately, just want to make the money, right? Where the other guys want to go out there and actually give these kids a good game. I really enjoy doing the younger kids as well because these kids are out there and they want to play. And, they're there having fun. And I want to make sure they get the best that I can give. It might not be the greatest because, believe me, some people think I'm horrible. You make a call in a game, 50% of the people love you. The other 50% hate you. But, the younger kids, I make sure that these guys get it, and they get a favorable clock. We don't let them play the game and enjoy themselves. There's no reason to speed this game up. It's going to take at most 2 hours, and you're going to make decent money doing it.
Yeah, and the kids have, and I try to tell Steven that's what I enjoyed that 1 year. I like doing the younger boys under 10 and then girls under like 12. But once they get a little older and they get rougher, and then you got the parents screaming and hollering, I just can't take it. I'm there, like you said, to help kids. I teach when I'm on the field refereeing, and they say, hey, watch out for your offsides. Hey, you're not allowed to do that. I'm not going to blow the whistle every time somebody does something little minor thing, You're about teaching.
No, you have to know the level you're refereeing at. When you're doing a 65-pound game, it's not like you're doing a Catholic League championship game. These kids are going to line up a little bit over the ball. They're going to grab a little bit more than the older kids would do. So penalties away from the play of a holding and stuff like that, a little lined up in the neutral zone. You have to let that go. You'll be blowing the whistle almost on every play.
Thank you. You hear that, Steve?
You got to give the referees and the umpires credit, especially now.
Yeah, well, you got
Cyrus.
it. Yeah, well, do you tell Anthony all the yelling you do with the referees at the soccer games?
Steve, you're guilty, huh?
Yeah, he is. Go ahead, Steve. Continue on. I'm sorry.
What level are you at, and do you want to go any higher?
Like I said, I go all the way up mainly from the little guys all the way up to CYO in 8th grade. I would love to get involved in the PIAA and start doing high school football games in the future. I'm 50 years old now, so I'm thinking maybe another 5 years so I can have more experience under my belt before I go into the high school level. And, it's more of a challenge when you're there as well. There's a test you have to take. They want you to be knowledgeable. And, the better you are, the quicker you're going to move up. We've had guys in our ARCO organization that have done Division I college football and have also ascended into the NFL ranks and are pretty successful doing that. I don't know them personally. They're older than me, but they have come back and spoke at our yearly banquet that we usually have. We're not going to have this year, unfortunately. That's one other thing that we're going to miss out on. But, like I said, you just have to learn, constantly learning every day. I made a big mistake in one football game about 3 years ago, and I'll never make that mistake again. It was on an onside kick, and the receiving team caught the onside kick and broke free on a straight run. And I was the white hat in the game on the line because we came up to make sure that because we knew the onside kick were coming. So what we did is we boxed the play in so we could see it clearly. And I blew my whistle. And I was positive that I made the right call until about 10 seconds after I blew the whistle. That receiving team can do whatever they want with the football. And that kid was going to score and probably score the game-winning touchdown at that point. The offensive team, the kickoff team, if they were to recover that onside kick, they're not allowed to advance it. And that was a situation where I just felt so bad, and I talked to the kids after the game, and they were upset. The coaches were upset, and there was nothing I could. You can't unring an already rung bell. And I felt horrible about it, but that's what I'm saying. So, we make mistakes along the way. We learn from our mistakes, but, certain things I'll never forget. And that's one thing. And it bothers me sometimes when I even talk about it, because I know that mistake may have cost those kids a shot at going to the playoffs.
Oh, geez.
So now I make sure now I tell all my officials, I said, let the play, what we say is let the play kill itself. Okay. Don't be quick with your whistle. Make sure the bodies are on the ground and then you blow your whistle.
Good advice.
What is the biggest game that you ever left or up?
Or umpired?
Well, we talked about the one where I had the chains, so that was pretty exciting to have that, but I was not an official on the field. I had a CYO championship game up at LaSalle High School last year, and it was actually the team Mount Carmel from South Philadelphia down at 4th and Shunk area was playing, who was it? Oh, I can't remember the name. Pretty big school, pretty powerful school, very exciting game. Came down to the end, and who was it? Their uniforms look like Notre Dame's Fighting Irish, and they're from the far northeast area. So
I was trying to think CYO. My son went to a presentation in Cheltenham, and then I'm thinking in the Northeast you got the where Archbishop Brian, Archbishop Brian feeds into.
Right. Yeah.
Archbishop Brian. What's that? Calvary?
No, I don't think it was Calvary.
Saint Catherine's.
It could have been St. Catherine's. It could have been. Sounds familiar, but
where's the other one? Right near
St. Martha's.
St. Martha's.
Mm-hmm.
That's right next to Ryan, right? Yeah. There's another one up that way too. I know you're talking about Christ the King. Is it Christ the King?
Christ the King's was not the school, but I know that school.
I ran out of Catholic schools up here.
No, I understand.
You know what? I know which one it is. Where's the girl that that crossing guard over at Parkwood?
Oh my God!
That's the one I think. St. Dominic? No. St. Dominic's is on
St. Jerome's.
St. Jerome's that's a Father Judge feeder. No, I can't think of it.
Yeah, but no.
So it was the CYO game. It was the biggest game.
CYO football championship, very exciting up at LaSalle, my rival high school, LaSalle College High School. And then it wasn't a big game that I did. I umpire that I've done some pretty good games with the Tri-State Elite. That's the TSC. But my favorite game that I umpired was down with the Anderson Monarchs. It was not their team that went to the Little League World Series because those kids were older at this point. It was a 11U game, 10U game, I'm sorry, and it was the Anderson Monarchs against a team from the Dominican Republic. So that was pretty exciting.
Oh, that's cool. That's
It
cool.
was almost like a Little League World Series game, an international played game, and it was very nice, very exciting.
How did they do?
It was a doubleheader. It was a friendly, and they split the doubleheader.
Oh, great. Yeah, that Anderson Monarchs team was really cool. That was the team that went on the bus that time, even they traveled around. Those kids are probably like
Monet Davis?
No, that was Monet Davis played on the different name. Oh God, the team that went to the Little League World Series from
that was Taney.
Taney. Right.
Taney
Monarchs. Yeah, the Monarchs been around forever.
Right. Monet Davis played for the Anderson Monarchs as well, as she also played for Taney. The difference between Taney and Anderson is Taney's part of Little League Baseball and Anderson is part of the Tri-State Baseball. So in order to get a team to compete in the Little League World Series, you have to be also involved in a Little League organization as well, and that's Taney's organization.
That's how they did it.
But I also had the pleasure of meeting her, very nice young lady, all those kids, and the man that runs the program down there and gets all the kudos is a gentleman named Steve Bandura. He works with those kids from sunrise to sunset, and he's one hell of a guy.
Yeah, I read a lot about him. That was a great story they put in the paper years ago when they took that little tour.
Yeah,
those kids are probably in their mid-20s now.
Yeah, they're actually right around the mid-20s. And the Monet Davis Anderson Taney team that went to the Little League World Series, they're all seniors. The majority of them. Some of them are freshmen in college, seniors in high school, getting ready to make their commitments to where they're going and stuff like that.
Great.
How do you deal with the fans if they're giving you trouble?
Well, like you said, right? Any call you make, 50% of the people love you, 50% of the people are going to hate you, and that could flip in a blink of an eye. The people that love you 5 minutes later want to kill you for a call. So what you usually do is you talk to the head coach before the game. We tell them we know it's playoff time, it's regular season, everything's intense. I get it. You want to win. You're down here to teach these kids how to play, and you're also down there to win football and baseball games. I mean, that's competition. So I get it, right? In the course of a game, there's going to be some issues. So, I just tell the head coach that let it come from him. He needs to control his sidelines, because what happens is if I have to throw a sideline warning, which we try not to do, then it's a warning against the head coach, basically, that if he can't control his sideline, his temper or his fans' temper and his coach's temper, that he's going to get a 15-yard penalty and possibly get ejected out of the football game. And you don't want to do that, because then they can't coach in the next game coming up. But there are times where you try to just, politely talk to a coach on the sideline, and he just basically is asking to be thrown out of the game, and he just won't stop, and he won't stop. And unfortunately, you have to throw the flag and just move on from there.
How about the fans? Do you have rabbit ears like some referees do, or do you just kind of let it go?
I let that go 95% of the time, unless it turns into a threatening mood or a vulgar mood, and people are dropping curse words in front of the kids. Then the rabbit ears have to pop up on that.
Absolutely.
But if they're telling me I stink,
right.
Then no big deal. There's no reason for me to turn around and have a conversation with a fan.
Hey, you hear that one too? See that? That's a good sign of a good umpire and good referee. Number 11.
Have you ever umped in the Little League World Series?
Well, you already answered that one.
No, yeah, I did not. But I did have the pleasure of going to the Little League World Series the first time with my son in 1998 when he was 7. And we went for up until he was about 15. So we went to 8 consecutive Little League World Series. We became pin collectors because of it. We have a pretty extensive size pin collection. And we also had the pleasure of watching the United States team win them and also lose them. but always good games when we were there. But very exciting when they finally got their first win in a Little League World Series game.
That's awesome.
Did
Now you didn't ask this one.
what is your favorite thing about reffing or umpiring?
My favorite thing about reffing or umpiring is watching the kids enjoy the game, have fun, and compete. Smiles on their faces, especially the little guys when they win a game or someone gets a big hit and they're just excited to be out there. And that's what it's all about, especially in Little League and CYO. And even, I get it, high school. When I was at St. Joe's Prep, the football team we couldn't get out of our own way at St. Joe's. We were one of those games where you saw us coming up on the schedule and it was like, oh, we're playing St. Joe's. That's going to be an easy win. But now the program's built a lot differently, but you should still be out there wanting to compete and also having fun while you're doing it. If you're not having fun while you're competing, then what's the sense of competing, in my opinion? You're going to win games and you're going to lose games. There's only one team in the history of sports that went undefeated, and I don't think we're ever going to see that again. And I don't think those guys, when they were going 17-0, the Dolphins that year when they had, or whatever it was, 14-0, were having fun when they were playing. They were probably nerve-wracking every game. So it's just, the enjoyment from the kids. That's my main thing, watching the kids grow.
Did any of the kids that you rest make to the pros?
One young man that I had the pleasure of coaching with my son, his name is Al Balor. He played with my son. He went on to play for St. John Newman High School. My son was in high school in Jersey. But Al Balor made it to AA ball with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization.
Awesome.
Okay.
Number 14.
Did
you play sports?
Did you play any sports as a kid?
In high school?
Yes.
Like high school and college and all?
Mm-hmm.
No, when I got to high school, I never grew big enough, and I wasn't a big fan of going in the weight room. So I just played, club teams and stuff like that. Grade school, however, I played baseball and football. I excelled more at football. I was the quarterback and captain for my CYO St. Monica's team for my JV team, which would have been 5th and 6th grade, and also the 7th and 8th grade team. My favorite sport is baseball, however, even though I am a much better football player.
How did you do for St. Monica's? Did you win?
We lost it, one championship game. The funny thing is, we lose the championship game one year. We won the South Philly championship to get to the big game. We beat our rival St. Edmunds. That school's since closed down. And then when I played weight ball, we made it all the way to when I was the last year I could play weight ball. I was 15. And I played for a team called the Capitola Cowboys, and we lost to Conshohocken in overtime in the championship game.
Oh,
yeah. So
they play right near Gino's, right?
Yeah. That's where that program's folded since then. But yeah, that's where we used to go. And like I said, I wasn't the biggest guy. I would play with big heart and reckless abandonment. But before the game, I would be eating a cheesesteak, waiting to get weighed in, and the coach would be like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Coach, I'm not going to miss this weight. I can get on that scale with two guys, and it still won't go over."
That's funny.
And then when coaching my son, what was fun was, he had the opposite effect when he was growing up. Every team he seemed to play on would win championships. His football team won a Jersey state championship when he was playing weight ball. His baseball teams won consecutive championships and went on to play in the districts in Cal Ripken and stuff like that, made it down to the Final Four. And it was funny when he won his first championship. I was coaching his team, and I was like, finally got a championship, all excited. He goes, Dad, you didn't win the championship. We did. I said, hey, thanks for just reminding me that I lost every game I played in the championship.
Hey, he's your blood, so you can take credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so funny. God, Steve, I'm sorry.
And last question, is this for fun? If you could have dinner with 3 players or coaches, dead or alive, who would they be?
If I could have dinner with 3 of, what was the question, Steve?
Sports coaches,
Or players?
or players, like, dead or alive.
Okay. I would love to actually meet Derek Jeter. He was one of my favorite baseball players. I watched him basically from the time he joined with the New York Yankees in 1995 all the way till the end of his career. I would love to I have personally met Rich Gannon, who is a St. Joe's Prep alumni and unfortunately lost the Super Bowl. But I would say in baseball, it would be Derek Jeter. In football, it would have been in the past. I would have liked to meet Joe Montana. And then hockey-wise, growing up, I've lost my taste for hockey a little bit. And a coach, an NFL coach that I would really like to meet would probably have been Chuck Noll. And I also would like to meet John Gruden for the Raiders because I think he's a great guy and very knowledgeable with the game and stuff like that.
He's funny. He's somebody that would probably love to meet somebody like you who had, is so involved in different ways. He's a great guy. I never met him, but I met a lot of the Eagles. I did a lot of their tag work for them, and I met a lot of the coaches and stuff. And a lot of them are so cool when you meet them.
Jermaine Mayberry.
Anything else? Jermaine Mayberry, one of the players for the Eagles.
Yeah,
he gave us tickets, and then the one you remember. I know you know this guy, Butch Bucciano, right? Butch.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he came to my office. That's how I got the Eagles connection. So then he gave Steven passes the year T.O. was first year T.O. was on the team.
Nice.
And then Steven got a chance to carry the equipment from the training.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
T.O., 2 guys.
Yeah.
2 kids after me got him.
It was wide receiver day, and
nice.
Then he got
Billy McMullen.
Very good, Steve. Billy McMullen.
I was doing a little league game last year down at Delaware Valley. It was an in-house game, DV. It's at 19th and Johnson, Barry Playground. And I was behind the plate doing the game, and I can hear this guy's talking, and I'm like, his voice is so familiar. It's got to be him, I'm saying to myself. So I hear him talking, and there was a play at the plate. I had called the kid out, and, the one coach was, no, he slid under the tag. And after it was all said and done, I was just sipping my Gatorade, and I hear him go in his very distinct voice. He goes, "That your call was right, Blue. You're doing a great job." And I turned around. I said, "That's you, Larry Anderson, right?" And he's like, and it was Larry Anderson watching the game because one of his friend's sons were playing.
That's
blah,
funny.
blah, blah.
Oh,
What a compliment coming from Larry Anderson.
Yeah.
He hates umpires.
I know. So, and I had told him that my stepdaughter, Vienna, and she, at the time was only 11 years old. She's 13 now. But I said how big of a Phillies fan she is. She loves the Phillies. Always we go to games. This is the first year that we obviously couldn't go to games, but we go to like all these games. So he said, "You know what?" I said, "We're going next Tuesday." He goes, "You come up to the Hall of Fame Club and let them know that that I invited you, and we'll give her a tour of the radio booth." So we go in there, and I walk up to the people, and I start the conversation out like this. I said, "Look, I don't have tickets to come in the Hall of Fame Club," I said, "but Larry Anderson said to tell you guys to go get him, and my name's Anthony Giordano, yada, yada, yada." So they walk away and they go get a supervisor. I explain the same thing to him, and he walks us into right by the door that would take us to where the press boxes are. And my daughter goes, "What do you think, Aunt?" I said, "He's either going to remember he told me or not." He opened the door less than 5 minutes later. He's like, "Yay, Anthony, blah, blah, blah." So we get to go in. Vienna gets to meet him. She meets McCarthy and what's his name?
Fransky, Scott Fransky.
Scott Fransky. And then they said, when we went over to meet McCarthy and the TV guys, so they had her with the headsets on. It was great, signed baseballs, all that fun stuff. As we're sitting there, who strolls in to the press box because he was going to be doing the first 3 innings of the Phillies game on the TV broadcast? Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was like wow. And I'll tell you what, I have the pictures and everything. Jimmy Rollins isn't a big guy.
Nah.
And he was so good at what he did. That just goes to show you, with hard work, it pays off. Not everybody's going to become a pro, but if you're dedicated to your craft, you could be good at it, and you could play, through high school if you can. If you can't, just enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to last forever.
That's what I try to tell Steven. And you get an education and go to college and you get a degree. That's what it's all about. High school sports is about getting to the next level. And then college, I tell people 2% of the people that play in college go on to be pro.
And so you could be the best.
Don't plan on that.
Look, you could be the best college athlete in the tri-state area, high school athlete in the tri-state area. Then you go to college. Now you're playing with the best of the best kids from around the country. And then all of a sudden you see, wow, I might not be as good as I thought I was, so, play and enjoy it while it lasts.
That's awesome. So Anthony, great to take the time out of your day. We really appreciate it. Right, Stevie?
Yes, sir.
All right, Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm glad I met you, Mr. McGuy. I know you didn't say to say Mr. I'll call you Big Steve.
Big Steve. That's what everybody calls me. Big Steve. And
all right.
The legend.
And the legend, I'm glad we made friends on Facebook, and I'm glad we could connect. And I feel honored that you asked me to be interviewed by yourself. And this is something I'll talk about for a lot of years to come. And I really do mean that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Can't wait to meet you after this is all over.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
You got it, guys. Take care.
Right.
God bless you.
You too.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I stopped it, Steve.